I've been sitting on those things. It was like, do you guys watch Seinfeld? Remember when Costanza had the huge wall and he was throwing his back out because he had like...
Everybody got closer.
Yeah, right?
I love that show.
And he's like, Jerry picks out a receipt. At any nearby Orlando gas station.
Oh, this is great.
What is?
You don't want to know. Come on.
What? That was
Here, hold this for a second.
One of the phones that you have.
Yeah, one of them flipped and I can't get it. I can't get it off from me. Come on.
Funny.
Okay, we're back.
So you're going to be a speaker at the thing on Thursday?
I'm giving a keynote speech at the... This year, I'm one of the recipients of the Jack LaLanne Award. So this year, I'm also giving it to somebody else.
Oh, cool. I'm going to be there.
Like, what? No idea. What are my credentials for winning? You're going to be there?
Yep.
Oh, cool. It was for the work that I've done in fitness. I think I was the first fitness correspondent at the Today Show, and we sort of carved that into their show, and they felt like it was...
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm going Thursday to Sunday because we have a booth, NFPT has a booth.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be there. I'm bringing one of my employees so I don't have to work as much.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But
I'll be walking the floor Thursday.
Yeah,
so
we'll hook up.
Yeah.
All right, I'm still trying to get you guys into one screen. I'm going to back
So
up.
go back and forth. So I'll start with Charlie for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I'm even trying to get you and Charlie into the same
Yeah,
screen.
Charlie, I'm the worst. After all this, I don't even know your last name.
Francesco.
Well, that's why. Because, like, look at, what is that? It sounds like something I would order in an Italian place. Right? Hey guys, how you doing? So I'm just here with my buddy, Charlie DiFrancesco. We call him Fresh on the street just because that's how far back we go, which is like 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's about that. Maybe 10.
So Charlie could bench press you, and I don't even know how big you are, but he could bench press you. He could bench press this table, and then he could bench press my personality, which is, is larger than life. And then after he's doing that, he could like clean and press you, whatever that means. Charlie owns a huge gym up in White Plains, but so much more than that, right?
Yes, more about training and education.
Yeah, so if you think that when you go to the gym and you hire a trainer, and what do you base that on? Like how good looking they are or how great a body they have? Like, I don't know what you base your criterion for hiring a trainer, but the truth is, if you want an amazing trainer, you should base it on like what the experience they have, the knowledge, their credentials. This guy teaches all of that, right? So the stuff that you don't know behind the scenes is that there's a lot of information that trainers need to know. A lot. It's not like, 5 squats and your glutes are going to be tighter than they were on Tuesday.
Exactly.
Like a lot of information. So what are these Bibles that you have laid down on the table for me here today, Charlie?
This is the NFPT certification manual.
What does that stand for?
National Federation of Professional Trainers.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Nice.
It's right there in case I forgot. So this is what I've been working with them for over 20 years. They're like a mom and pop shop.
Okay.
And I helped them get their accreditation years ago, got on their board, basically donated more time than I could count because I wanted to be part of something in the industry rather than just a guy who trains people.
And when you say part of something that gives credentials out to trainers.
So that I could impact the trainers out there, because my problem is that I can only help a certain amount of people by the sessions that I do. Mm-hmm. So if I go out and I actually train trainers, that means I can help unlimited people.
Yeah.
Because I'm educating the trainers, not to be exactly like me, because you don't want cookie cutter, but I'm teaching them my principles that I've researched and through experience, through my working years and just working out for most of my life and being a fat kid and then, getting in shape and then getting injured and then seeing both sides of how it really is. The injuries that I got were from a lot of the traditional exercises that I was doing that actually people still do.
Interesting.
And I could attribute pretty much every injury to what I did now that I know. But if everybody, if you knew what you knew now back then, so I didn't have that luxury because a lot of what I researched was wrong. I'm 43 now, so this is a long time ago when I was researching this stuff. So everything was like based on Arnold Schwarzenegger, bodybuilding, and bodybuilders don't play sports. Bodybuilders bodybuild.
Move as well.
It's different, and I give bodybuilders respect because they have a very difficult job.
Right.
The eating, the gym is easy. It's the eating.
Right.
What those guys eat is insane.
And then the water, and then when they get the protein, and it's a lot, right?
It's insane. I was never really the bodybuilder kind of guy. I was a powerlifter kind of guy. Because I like to eat a lot, and I like to lift heavy weights. And that was what worked for me. My body type, even when I was low body fat at one point in my life, I actually looked sickly.
Oh, wow.
My body I was 9% body fat. I had abs, but I should have been ripped, but I wasn't. It's just not my body.
I'm so interested, and people would be interested to hear. Give me an example of like what these guys, that you don't realize, these bodybuilders, what they eat, like how they have to eat around the clock.
Everything is so clean. They have to eat every 3 hours. I mean, every bodybuilder has a little bit of a different theory.
Yeah.
Some guys I've known eating every 2 hours. I used to eat every 3 as a power lifter. I used to have a protein shake at the side of my bed. I was never catabolic. I always had protein. As we know, protein only really lives in the body for 3 to 4 hours. So if you're not eating protein every 3 to 4 hours, your body doesn't have the protein it needs to build muscle, etc.
There you go. There you just learned something right there.
That's the most important thing. If you're not anabolic, you're catabolic. So catabolic, burning muscle.
I told Rihanna that the other day when she was looking for a new title for a song. If you're not anabolic, you're catabolic. She's like, that could work. That's a possibility.
I like it.
What else you got?
Like
That's what she said. What else you got?
I like
right?
it.
Okay, go on.
So, bodybuilders, they're eating anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 calories a day, depending on their size.
6,000 calories.
And it depends. The bigger guys, even more.
Wow.
And there's other things that go. It's a dark industry, as we all know.
I don't want to know anything else that goes in there.
But that's not all of them.
Right.
But it's regardless, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult, and it's.
But on a much, much, much lower scale, I would say protein is super important for someone like me or someone from like my mom, just to have in her system all the time.
One of the problems is people don't realize protein. We can't produce complete proteins. So if we don't eat them, our body has to break down muscle to get the protein. Fat, carbohydrates, we can convert fat to carbohydrates and vice versa. You can't do that with protein. So one of the big myths is training on an empty stomach when you wake up in the morning. You do burn more calories. There's a whole science behind it, but it's at the expense of burning muscle mass, which long-term slows your metabolism down. So at the end of the month, your net is actually lower than if you had protein before you did your cardio.
And how much protein?
Depends on the body, just enough to stop the body from catabolizing muscle. So if it's intense activity you're doing fasted, you probably need 20 some odd grams of protein.
That's
30
a lot
grams.
of protein. That's like a big can of tuna.
But you could also have an isopure. It's a very light shake.
Yeah.
It's very thin. Egg whites. There's certain things that you could have to stop the muscle catabolization.
Right.
And what happens is when you work out fasted, you actually spike your cortisol, which is a catabolic hormone, which is going to chew up muscle, create belly fat, stress hormone, and everything else.
Oh, the worst.
The worst thing ever. Now, once you disrupt your hormones, the problem with that is you're not going to get them back unless you actually fix it. So that's why, in my experience, I see a lot of these people that starve themselves and work out like crazy, they have no shape.
Yeah.
Because their body has to burn the muscle. You need protein for brain function, digestion, cellular, reproductive. There's so many things.
Sentence. Right? Because I'm not getting enough protein. I need more brain function.
You need more protein.
I need more protein.
I think you might need it.
Can I just tell you that if I turn this book open to any given page, what you're not going to see in here right now, this isn't a thing that says do 5 push-ups. You guys have to know a lot. I don't have my glasses on, but this doesn't even look like a push-up. This looks like a pancreas or something. This looks like maybe it's a uterus or something. I don't even know, but look at that.
Vertebrae hanging out
Texas.
there.
What are we?
It doesn't look a little like Texas.
It does look a little bit like Texas. What's my point? My point is there's an obscene amount of information that trainers have to know.
Absolutely.
They should know.
Well, they should know. They don't have to
before they
know.
take someone under their wing. So I will just tell you, and I was explaining this to you earlier. And you guys, this is Denise. Denise also works with Charlie at what's the name of the gym?
The Arena.
The Arena.
The Arena. My apologies. I didn't have enough protein today, obviously.
Formerly Pure Fit Club.
Formerly of Pure Fit Club. It's in White Plains, New York. I do know that.
Yeah. How do you pronounce that? White Plains?
One morning, I had this guy going, so their gym is in White Plains. And I'm like, are you trying to say White Plains, but you're just saying it wrong? And are you doing it to annoy me? That was like when my mom went on a kick of calling it, because we live here on 10th, but there's...
This is actually something they stress in kindergarten in Columbus, Ohio, how to say White Plains.
No.
That will actually...
My mom mispronounced Broadway. So
How did she pronounce it?
How did she say it?
Normally, 42nd and Broadway. Not my mom, 42nd and Broadway. I'm like, why? I don't understand. Why would you think to even accentuate Broadway? Why would you say that? But this is my mom who wanted to be a little fancy, so she says, I put out some carrots and hummus. I'm like, you're from New Jersey. Settle down with the hummus.
It's like Target. People say Target.
Well, I do say Target. So let's not kill that, okay? It was all jokes until you brought
See,
it up.
Denise doesn't like camera. The one thing she says.
Yeah, the one thing she says is wrong. You know, why don't you just sit over there and let me tell my
It was
little
good.
story.
It was good when she was quiet.
I'm
right?
not sure. So this is what happened. I went to get certified. I love training. I want to know everything there is to know about training, head to toe, A to Z, all of it. So I decided I was going to get ACE certified. It's one of the certifications, right?
Ones, yes,
Yeah, it's one of the big
absolutely.
ones. Come on up. Come sit down. Have a seat. Stay a while. Listen to my incredibly fun story. So I sit down. I get all of my studying information. It was a lot. And I was like, I am so excited. I'm going to learn it, right? I haven't learned anything since college. Like, I am going to just dive in head first and, like, splash myself with information, do the backstroke with anatomy, and I'm going to, like, do the breaststroke and kinesiology. Like, I'm in it.
Very excited.
Very excited, right? I saw the book, and I signed it. First page, ready? This was me. I kid you not. Ready? Open the book up. So it's nighttime. It's like 6 o'clock. I got the whole night ahead of me. Chapter 1, page 1. I'm going to get a snack. I'm going to get a real snack. I'll be right back. And that was it. And it was snack and distraction. And it turns out, Charlie and Denise, I have the attention span of a loofah sponge. So instead of the 2 weeks, which I thought it would take me to study for this, it took like 6-7 weeks before I was able to even get through and make the study guides and the sheets and all of it. And then I went in. And I don't know if you're Jewish, but I said Shema like 27 times, like praying that I passed. Because it's pass-fail.
Yep.
And I sat down and I walked. And you find out as soon
How do
as
you
you're
say
done.
Shema?
How do I do it?
Yeah, like what's I want to hear
Shema
you.
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Very good.
I could do the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I could go the whole, and I could do it. I could do Eleno. I could daven. I could basically do all my morning.
We'll have to get around later.
Yes, because that's what people want to do.
I hadn't thought about that
That's
for sure.
amazing television. Anyway, that being
Everybody
said.
thinks, oh wow, viewership spikes. as you
No,
say
there's no way
Shema.
it's it.
Yes.
There's no way it's it.
Anything for the viewers.
Anything for the viewers. I hit the last answer of my question, boom, and like they go, it's like the Jensens, and then it's going to tell you if you pass or fail. And it was like, you pass. And I was like, what is it? What? What'd you say? And they're like, you passed. Like, I ran out. I hugged the proctor. I left. I pleaded with the great guy upstairs saying I would never ask for anything again because this was like my big favor. This is how crazy I was with this.
Favor.
This was my big favor. Like passing the
You used your big
test.
favor on that?
This is where I got my big tip.
That's it.
And I felt really smart for a little while, and then you're right, you don't use it every day with your clients, and you kind of lose the information. And I love what you're doing is you guys are so like, you know, hell-bent on making sure people know it and people use it, and it's really, really refreshing because you have an issue with the fact there are a lot of people that are underqualified out there training, right?
Most of my clients have been injured by trainers. That's what started this. I used to own a sports medicine clinic, and Greenwich Sports Medicine, I'll give you a plug.
Yeah, plug it out.
I owned it for 6 years, and the reason I created all the education courses was because we couldn't hire trainers. We kept hiring trainers, and nobody knew what they were doing. And we had injured people that like were really hurt. We had pretty much the Walking Dead, I like to say, because we didn't take insurance. So everybody came to us when like they couldn't get fixed anywhere else.
Yeah.
So they come to us, and it was chiropractic, acupuncture. We did clinical nutrition. We had a whole clinic, and we had, I'd say our results were probably about 95% success rate.
Really?
I had my partner was one of the best doctors in the country, and the associates he worked with, they were absolutely amazing. And I was fortunate to learn from them. I used to take all the courses the doctors taught.
Yeah.
I used to just sit in. Because I was the owner and I just wanted to hear it. And free education. You know, my partner used to travel all over the world.
Good for you.
And he brought it all back. And what happened was after months of trying to find trainers, we looked at each other. I said, I'm just going to stay here all day.
Let's do it.
I'm going to hire trainers and doctors to write courses with us because we have to train our own staff.
Yeah.
And I probably spent about $300 or $400 grand on that, which is insane. But this is our brand, is we have better trainers than the average gym and most of the big box gyms.
Right.
And the goal is, I want to see regulation in the industry, some form of regulation, so that trainers stop hurting people. I've had trainers give people strokes, broken necks. I mean, I could tell you horror stories.
Wow.
All from things that could have just been completely avoided.
Sure.
You know, guys just being crazy and weird stuff.
Well, I think people love to hear like what we do and what you do that works. So, for example, like eating breakfast and why protein is so important. Denise, what like in all the work you've done and the people you come across, like give me a tip, give me something that you don't think people know that you've sort of learned and now have adopted as your way of life. The way Charlie puts down 190 grams of protein every single day. He's like, just a thin protein shake, you know, like just like a keg. Like I do a kegger of protein every morning.
Nothing crazy.
And it's nothing crazy. Stretching.
Absolutely.
Really?
Definitely. Stretching, the roller.
Yeah, foam rolling,
all of it. It's made a huge difference.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Fixing my posture, figuring out what's causing different pain in different areas.
Okay.
That type of stuff. It's made a difference in every aspect of my life.
Because I'm right. When you were younger, what I would do is we'd go, okay, we're gonna work out, and we're working out.
Right.
It literally went from I'm gonna work out today to working out. There was no in between. And then when you're done, you're like, I'm working out and I'm done. And then you just go on to
No
do
cool
something.
down,
No
no
cool
what?
down, no
Right.
stretching.
Cool down,
Your
no
muscles are like,
Exactly.
what just happened? So you find that that's
Oh my
important.
God. That's how we met. We met because I got injured.
Oh, and you came to see him.
Yes.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Example of.
Example
Denise
of
is
a
also a
trainer.
dietitian,
Oh, okay.
and I certified her.
Oh, wow.
So this is this foundation certification, so that you have an accredited cert,
Yes.
and then all the continuing ed goes with it, so you become a specialist. We do stretching courses. I have a whole slew of courses that we teach to our staff, but also they're public because they're recognized by ACE, NASM, NSCA. So I find that I didn't want to write just for myself because then it's not credible.
Yeah.
You know, people will say, it's yours. People that work for me can work anywhere in the country and be recognized.
Charlie, how do you know so much about this? Why do you care so much about this? Why is any of this important?
To be honest with you, a lot of this started when I started working out, did everything the wrong way, hurt myself, destroyed my chances of being a professional. When I was 23, I fell off a loading dock at the gym we actually own now, which is strange because it wasn't a gym, it was just a building I happened to work in.
Oh, wow.
Just really weird.
Yeah.
I have those kind of weird things happening on a regular basis.
Right?
Like, just strange. So it's like, I got hurt there, and that's where my career path changed because at that point I was training for a strongman I wanted to try to qualify. And once I hurt my shoulder, I couldn't bench press anymore. So my best bench after my shoulder surgery was 400 pounds, which is not really that much.
It's so loud here in New York. It sounded like you said 400 pounds.
But that's not really that much weight for a professional. You know.
I'm sorry that I'm just never going to believe you. That's an insane amount of weight, Charlie.
that was after my surgery. Before my surgery, I was benching 545.
545 pounds.
Yes, which is why my shoulders
That's
are the way
like
they
7 of me, just so you know. Okay, go on.
So that was my goal. Was I wanted to do strongman. I had a long way to go, but I wanted to get into it because it's very, very. It's much more intense than people think.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was working out 2 to 3 hours a day. It still wasn't enough. It was. I had a ways to go, but I wanted to get in to qualify.
Right.
And this was me not knowing what I was doing, getting that strong. Just some meathead running around, working out 2-3 hours a day.
You got hurt.
And I got hurt. You know, I fell at work and hurt my shoulder, tore it apart, had the surgery. It was okay. Now it's all right. Like, it's not the same. I really don't bench press anymore.
Right.
I can still probably bench press close to 400 pounds, but it
Of
hurts.
course you
You know, like
so
I don't want to do it. But now what I've done is I've changed direction. So me getting injured actually was probably a good thing because I'm not going to help people being a strongman. I've actually helped a lot of people change their lives by fixing their injuries, and not only just me, my staff. I take it to heart when I see one of my staff help somebody because I know that I brought them in, and you know that's my goal. Is if I could have 100 of those guys, I could help everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what made me go into this. I had all these injuries, and I'm like, I don't want to happen to people what happened to me.
Right.
But the unfortunate truth is, what I did wrong almost 20 years ago, people are still doing wrong today and fighting about it. Like, no, you're wrong, and I'm like, but there's so much research
and there's a lot of science to it.
There's so much science. Like, stop with the exercises, come up with movements.
Oh, that's interesting. I was going to say, give me an example of what you mean. Like, what's something that we're all doing that maybe we're not doing right?
So there's a lot of things. Like, the worst exercises, in my opinion, behind the neck presses.
Oh, yeah. Like a lat pull down
like
kind of
behind
thing?
the head. And the press and the pull down. Terrible. Just awful. And there's tons of research to prove that.
So for people that don't know, it's like anything pulling behind your neck.
It's no good for you.
No. And I knew that.
And it's terrible. Now, in strongman, there are some behind the neck exercises.
Let me just give you the percentage of people in our audience that are trying out for the strongman competition. Like, I don't know, this year, next year, whatever it is.
I think it's pretty high.
Include me.
And including Lance.
Yeah,
I mean, he's an Adonis.
He's the president.
There. He's an Adonis.
I'm the
Look at
strongman in the
muscles.
160.
You're barely holding up those iPhones over there.
I know, but
You're
I'm in
like
the senior
this.
class.
It would be 0%. I'm going to go with 0, and that's a high number.
Yes, you can ask questions. There's a
Okay.
bunch of questions about protein, just by the way. So.
Should we get into?
Well, you were doing the bench press.
Yes.
You did what with
I
some of the
said
exercise
besides.
movement.
Okay, so besides behind the neck things.
So like certain types of sit-ups really bad for your back.
Right.
Leg raises really bad for your back, because what a lot of people don't understand is you feel it in your stomach because your hip flexors are working and they run through there.
Yeah.
And your hip flexors originate on your spine and attach in the front.
So you're putting a lot of pressure
You're
there.
putting a lot of pressure on them. Now, does it mean that nobody could do a leg raise?
That does not mean
There's
that.
no such thing. In my opinion, I feel differently. Years ago, I would say never, never, never. There's a reason to do certain things. It's a very small percentage of people that should do sit-ups and leg raises. There's specific reasons,
Yeah.
but the general pop should really never do it. Most athletes should really never do it, but it's individual. You have to prescribe exercise to people as an individual.
Didn't I say
and
that?
that's the most important thing. You know, there's things that I do with some people that I
wouldn't
can't
do
do with
with other
others.
people.
Just can't do it. Risk reward.
Sure.
You know, that's what it comes down to, the risk reward.
Tell me about the protein questions.
So
Who
first
has
of all,
questions? Let's ask
Yeah,
questions.
okay.
If you have like two people who know more about this than anyone, this is Denise and this is Charlie.
all right. So protein. How much protein before a workout? In the
Before a
morning?
workout or
Before
the course of the day?
Before a workout and
Well, Charlie seems to think you think 20, 30 grams of protein.
Depending on the intensity. So if you're just going out to do cardio, so if it was you, you're going out just to do cardio,
Yes, I've never
and you
just
wanted
do
to
cardio,
if you
so-
want to be fasted in the morning, let's
Right.
pretend you're just going to do cardio. I would say 10 to 15 grams the most.
So-
Something light, just so you don't spike your
Right.
catabolic hormones.
And you would say just protein, not
just protein, because you want to still maintain that that fat burning.
Right.
Because if you start taking carbs, in your body's going to burn what's in the blood first.
okay.
You want to burn what's stored, and you want it to convert to fat. You want the fat to convert to carbohydrates, because you lose 20 to 25% of the molecule. So
Okay.
that's why you burn more fat when you're fasted.
what
you
kind of
say?
watch are you wearing?
That's the question.
Yeah. What's one of the questions?
This is a Microsoft band, but I'm contemplating getting the Apple Watch just to try it. Maybe not.
I think they should give you one.
They should give me one.
That's
Hey,
what I
Apple.
I should get one for suggesting it.
And you should get one for. And Denise, you're sitting next to me, so you should get one.
That's what I think.
And everybody, you get a watch.
Anybody.
Everybody gets
Watches
a watch.
for the building.
Watches for the whole building.
What kind of simple question? Beginner for a workout. Someone who was injured a while ago and wants to start working out again. What kind of exercise routine should they?
I'm just going to jump in here because I don't even know what you guys are going to say. First of all, I never like to give advice to someone who's just randomly asking that was injured, because we don't know what your injury is, and I never want. But I would say just first start moving until you figure it out. Go walking until you figure out what you enjoy doing, what you like to do, what's low impact enough, and what doesn't hurt you, and what your doctor approves. Because my mom never did anything, ever. And I put a pedometer on her, like a $7 pedometer, and I said, just go walk like 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day and eat a little bit better. And she lost 10 pounds in like 2.5 weeks. My mom, who is she to lose 10 pounds? Who's my mom? That would be my advice. Now, he may tell you to try to clean and press 400 pounds.
I would not say that.
No, you would not say that.
I would not say
Charlie
that.
would not say that, but he'd like to bench press you. So
I might.
You might bench press him. Do you agree with me?
That's good advice, because from my experience, if you overwhelm people, they'll do nothing.
Nothing.
So it's a good start. You got her excited about it. Now it's time for phase 2.
You excited?
So she was excited.
Phase
She
2,
won't see
Del
that,
Boca
right?
Vista.
So
Del Vista Boca. Phase 2.
my advice would be, if you're injured, hire a trainer to give you a workout. Because the misconception is, and we sell a lot of this, you don't have to hire a trainer for a year.
Right.
You could hire a trainer for 3 or 4 sessions just to evaluate you and tell you what's good for you.
Right.
And then you could follow that routine, and then at least you have a starting point. It's not going to cost you a fortune. It's a few $100, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than getting injured.
Yeah.
You know, it's cheaper than going out to dinner and drinking. You get a workout that you could do on your own.
Sure.
And then follow up with the trainer twice a year, just so you have something. Obviously, I'm going to advise, if it's in your budget, to do it regularly.
It's
You're
an
going to get a better
ACL
workout.
injury, by the way, the guy guys.
It's an ACL injury.
So the
Thank
first
you.
thing I can
Nice
tell
simple.
you, don't do leg extensions. Don't do inverted leg
Look,
presses.
Charlie got all just serious. Charlie's like, I'm explaining
Okay,
something.
yeah.
Okay, here's what you want to do now. You want to avoid the leg extensions. That's number one. Number two, let me give you 16 things you can do right now. Did you see that?
See that? I turned it on.
He
I couldn't
got
help
like-
it. You caught me out there.
Holy. Be careful what you
That's
ask.
it.
That was amazing. You know what that is? Honestly, you know what that is? That's passion. That's a guy who cares so deeply for what he does and knows so well all of this and lives and plays and breathes in this space that he can answer you in 5 seconds and he believes every single thing he's saying. Now, it may all be crap. I'm just kidding.
It might be.
No,
I think
it's
I made
not.
it up on the way here. I read this on the way here.
No. Here's me. I'm like, multiple choice.
There you go. Take a test.
C. Denise, contribute something here before we go. I want you to talk to me about how important the food is when you're doing all this stuff, because we can work out till we're blue in the face. But if your diet is off, and I mean, you must get asked this all the time, and so do you, and I get that. What's more important, like food or exercise? If you want to lose weight, what's more important? Food. It's
Absolutely.
75% of it.
Absolutely.
But it's not going to get you to live the rest. The working out and the moving and the building muscle will provide longevity, I think, and keep you
I
healthy.
agree.
But the food, if you want quick,
Food is so important, and it's so much more than the food. We actually work with a doctor. He does all this blood testing to find out about your hormones, because as you're getting older, you can eat the perfect diet. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this. A lot of my friends in their 40s have noticed this. They're doing the same thing they always did.
but it's not working
And
anymore.
it's not working anymore.
Right.
And why? And it's because your hormones are shifting, and you need to kind of, it's also the supplements you take, the water you're drinking, the food, organic, everything.
Well, the food,
Everything.
the preservatives, like,
Yes.
the supplements that aren't what they say they are.
Right.
People don't realize a lot of
Yes.
stuff you buy over the counter is not what it says it is.
Right.
Because there's no FDA regulation.
Regulation.
So you don't
So
know
what do
you're
you
getting.
recommend? What are you supposed to do? Water, first of all. I usually recommend half your body weight in ounces of water. I mean,
Yes.
it's an easy way for
It's
people
easy.
to figure out
Absolutely.
how much water they're taking in.
I recommend eating clean, staying away from processed food as much as possible.
Yeah.
Buying fresh when you can, having enough protein. And if you're still having problems, having blood tests, see what's wrong. Most of
Right.
the time, you really can't get what you need from your food anymore, just
Right.
because it's grown so far away, it's refrigerated,
Yeah.
the soil's not as healthy. So most people
soil.
need, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
So most people need to supplement what they eat. As much as everyone says you can get everything you eat from
You
food,
can't.
you really can't anymore.
Oh, interesting.
And you need to
So-
know what supplements you need. That's the
Yeah.
other
You
thing.
do.
People take
Very
supplements
individual.
blindly.
Right.
The most expensive supplement you take is the one you don't need. That's
Yes.
that we get a blood work. We
Yeah.
have a huge panel that comes back and tells you basically everything about yourself.
Wow.
It tells you your hormone levels, your vitamin deficiencies,
Right.
everything that you'd ever want to know. It's great. We brought in Tomorrow Medicine is the name of the company. We're building a wellness
Shameless
center.
plug.
Yeah,
Go on.
we're building a wellness center in the front of the gym because that's the part that's missing.
Yeah.
The medical weight loss, and it's not about prescribing drugs for hormone replacement.
Right.
It's about lifestyle changes, supplementation, doing things naturally before you cross that. We have a medical doctor that does it. So
Yeah.
if somebody really does have a hormone problem that can't be
Then he'll
corrected,
figure it
he
out.
can give them drugs, but that's not the goal.
Okay.
We don't want to be a drug clinic. That's
Sure.
not what we're looking
But
for.
almost everybody, I would say, needs a probiotic, without question, because everyone's digestive system gets all messed up, and
Right.
your immune system and everything comes from your gut. And so if you want to be healthy, then you have to have a healthy gut.
Can you get a probiotic over the counter?
You can. It's done in billions of microorganisms. You want to get one that is really, really high up. Like I take one that's 100 billion. That's really hard to find.
100 billion? That's a number?
Yeah.
What is
I didn't
that?
fit that on
Oh
my
my
label.
God.
It's really high. Most of the ones over the counter are like 15 or 20. It depends on, it's individual, depending on what's wrong,
So,
how you
but
feel.
the point is everyone should get checked out and figure out what the best thing for them is.
Yes.
Okay, so it's called The Arena.
The arena.
It's
Yes.
in White Plains,
Yes.
New York. You've got like massive amounts of space. It sounds unbelievable.
We have turf space, strength and conditioning. We have everything.
Everything. Plus, you got the best trainers.
Plus, I'm there.
Plus, you're there. This guy's amazing.
Imagine.
Denise is there. He's going to tell you how to move. She's going to tell you how to eat. Together, they're going to get you on the right track. I like this. This sounds fun.
Denise
I'm
is the
gonna come
boss,
up.
though. She runs the business.
Oh, you run the place.
Yeah.
Charlie
She's my
says
partner.
that, but Charlie's the one that does all the talking.
Yeah.
But he's a quiet guy. He's like a shy.
Very shy, very quiet.
And he's so little, you probably can never find him. That's why you're like, Charlie, where are you? It's the eclipse. It's the eclipse. It's Charlie. You guys were totally awesome. I have a million questions, but why don't I just come work out with you sometime?
It would be good.
Okay.
That would be great.
And I'll ask you 1,000 questions when we're off camera, because we all need to know more. We're all sort of working.
I don't do mornings though. I know you like the morning. I don't work in the mornings.
What is
allergic to it.
And so when does your day start?
I get a rash if I get up too
Too early in the morning. That's how I am.
My day starts at like 10.
10 in the okay. By 10, I'm pulling into lunch, and then.
But I work till
dinner
9 o'clock at night though.
No.
10 o'clock. So.
10 o'clock at night, I'm 2 hours into bed.
No, see, I'm working. She'll tell you. She gets emails at 2 in the morning.
I wake up
and you get
skin scratch. I've like.
I hate to say it, but you guys are adorable together. I know you don't. You know it's this, but anyway.
She's a great partner. She does everything.
Awesome. That's
especially stuff I don't like to do.
Of course, because that's what girls do.
Yeah.
We do all the cool stuff, the stuff.
That's the best thing I ever did was get a female partner.
That's it.
Best thing. I always say it.
Denise, he's giving you compliment after compliment. I would take it. You guys are awesome. Do you have like a website or something?
We do.
What is it called?
What is it? I don't know. Lance changed it.
Nice. Nice.
TheArenaFitness.com.
Check it out. It's going to be awesome. We're going to take a
We
break.
have the arenafitness.fit too. Is that
Arena.fit.
All right, we can get into that.
Charlie and Denise, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Can you end the Facebook Live?
Let's go
while I
lift
do this?
something.
Let's